Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something probably sitting in your kitchen right now, the humble oat, avena.
That's right. It's incredibly cheap, super easy to find, but often, people don't fully grasp why it's so good for you.
Exactly. And our sources today, they really lay out the blueprint. We're going to trace the journey of oats, basically from your breakfast bowl right through your body.
Yeah, we've got research covering everything, how it works mechanically in the stomach, what happens chemically in the intestine, all the way to the colon, and crucially, we'll look at the hard science behind the big health claims.
Things like feeling full, controlling cholesterol, maybe even cancer prevention,
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
So our mission today, let's unpack how this one simple food can help you feel satisfied longer, actually reduce fat and sugar getting into your system, and boost your gut health.
Hmm.
All without, breaking the bank or needing some complicated plan.
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the journey starts the moment you eat them. Let's say you have, 1 or 2 tablespoons, maybe in some water or yogurt for breakfast. Yep, that's a typical amount.
The key ingredient is that soluble fiber, right?
Yeah.
It hits the liquid and dissolves or solubilizes. What actually happens then in the stomach?
Great. So that dissolving action creates this thick, viscous gel. It's quite remarkable, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, gel. And this gel basically mixes with everything else in your stomach and thickens it all up. It turns it into this, almost like a sluggish slurry.
Sluggish, okay. So it slows things down.
Dramatically. The immediate effect is that the whole digestive process in the stomach takes longer. Your stomach has to churn and work quite a bit harder and for more time to break down that thickened mix.
And that slowing down, that's what makes you feel full.
That's a huge part of it. Because the food stays in the stomach longer, and because the mix is physically thicker and takes up more volume, the stomach wall actually stretches. It distends.
Ah, okay. Physical stretching.
Exactly. And that distension acts like a mechanical signal. It's a very clear message sent straight up to your brain.
Telling it what? We're good down here.
Pretty much, yeah. The signal says the stomach is full, conditions are stable, stop the drive to eat, we aren't hungry anymore.
What's really striking about that is how efficient it is. You get this lasting feeling of fullness, this satiety from what, maybe 100, 150 calories if you're talking 2 tablespoons.
That's about right. It's incredibly low calorie for the effect you get. It's a fantastic return on investment, calorie-wise.
So if you're thinking about managing weight, this seems like a no-brainer.
Oh, absolutely. Just this mechanical effect alone is a massive plus. You're swapping out, say, a sugary cereal that gives you a quick spike and then a crash.
And leaves you hungry an hour later.
Yeah. Right. You're swapping that for something that physically tells your body to slow down, to feel satisfied for longer. It directly helps manage calorie intake through the day.
Okay, so that covers the stomach.
Yeah.
But the journey isn't over. What happens when this gel mixture moves into the small intestine?
Right. So now we shift gears a bit. It's less about just mechanical filling and more about biochemical interactions, like traffic control almost.
Traffic control for fats and sugars.
Yeah.
Because that's the next big claim, right? Lowering cholesterol.
Exactly. That's probably the most famous benefit associated with oats and other soluble fibers.
So how does the gel do that? Does it, block the fat?
In a way, yes. That viscous gel is still present, and it lines the walls of the small intestine. What it does is it physically interacts with and actually binds to bile salts and dietary fats.
It traps them.
Sort of, yeah.
All right.
By binding to them, it prevents a good portion of them from being absorbed through the intestinal wall into your bloodstream. And this interference seems particularly effective against the bad fats, leading to measurable drops in LDL cholesterol.
LDL, the bad cholesterol.
Okay.
Now, a question that comes up sometimes. If it's blocking fat, could it also block good stuff? Like, what about vitamins that need fat to be absorbed? Vitamins A, D, E, K.
That's a really important question. And the research generally suggests that while it definitely interferes with absorbing larger fat molecules and cholesterol, things we often want to get rid of, it doesn't seem to significantly impair the uptake of essential micronutrients, like those fat-soluble vitamins, especially when you're eating the oats as part of a balanced meal.
Okay, so the body's still getting the vitamins it needs.
Generally, yes. The massive benefit you get from lowering LDL and improving overall gut function seems to far outweigh any, theoretical minor reduction in vitamin absorption. Plus, the oat itself has nutrients.
Good point. Okay, so that's fat. What about the sugar traffic control? How does it affect blood sugar levels?
It's a very similar mechanism, actually. That same physical slowdown we saw in the stomach, it continues in the small intestine
Because of the gel.
because of the gel. Its thickness, its viscosity, slows down how quickly carbohydrates get broken down into simple sugars and released into the bloodstream.
So no sudden rush of sugar.
Exactly. You avoid that sharp spike, which means your body doesn't need to release a huge surge of insulin to cope. It's a much gentler, more gradual rise and fall in blood sugar.
And the studies back this up for diabetes.
They do, consistently. Research shows this effect can actually help delay the onset of type 2 diabetes in people at risk. And for those already living with diabetes, it can significantly improve their metabolic control, their blood sugar management.
That's huge. But I guess there's a caveat.
Well, yes, a crucial one. These benefits are most pronounced when eating oats is part of an overall healthy lifestyle. Regular activity, a balanced diet. It works best as part of a package deal.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. Stomach, satiety, small intestine, fat and sugar control. But you said the journey isn't over. What happens next?
Well, this is where it gets really fascinating from a biological standpoint. Here's the kicker. We humans, we don't actually have the right enzymes to fully digest oats ourselves.
Wait, really? We can't break them down completely.
Not fully, no.
Yeah.
Especially that soluble fiber. So a significant portion of the oat travels through the stomach and small intestine relatively untouched. It arrives more or less intact in the final stage, the colon.
And that's where the action happens.
That's where the real magic happens, you could say. Because waiting in the colon is our gut microbiota. Trillions of bacteria.
Our gut bugs.
Exactly. And they have the enzymes that we lack. They look at this undigested oat fiber arriving and think, lunchtime.
So they digest it for us.
They ferment it, technically. Fermentation is a process where microbes break down complex carbohydrates without oxygen. And this fermentation of oat fiber by our gut bacteria produces two main things.
Okay, what are they?
Gases, things like methane, carbon dioxide, which we'll come back to.
The downside.
Potentially, yes. But also, critically, it produces short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs.
SCFAs. You hear that term a lot in gut health discussions. Why are they so important? What do they actually do?
They are absolutely crucial. These SCFAs, the main ones, are butyrate, acetate, and propionate. They're not just waste products of fermentation. They are the preferred fuel source for the cells lining our colon, the colonocytes.
So the bacteria make food for our own gut lining.
Precisely. Butyrate especially is vital for maintaining the health and integrity of the intestinal barrier. It helps repair damage, keeps the lining strong. It's fundamental.
Wow. Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. Some SCFAs get absorbed into the bloodstream and travel throughout the body where they seem to have systemic anti-inflammatory effects. Research is still digging into all the downstream benefits, but it looks very promising.
So feeding the good bacteria literally feeds and protects us. It's a win-win.
It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And there's another chemical effect, too. The fermentation process also releases acids, like lactic acid.
Okay.
This actually lowers the pH level in the colon, making it more acidic.
And why is a more acidic colon good?
Well, most of the potentially harmful bacteria, the pathogens we don't want taking over, they tend to prefer a more alkaline, less acidic environment. So by lowering the pH, the SCFAs and lactic acid create conditions that are less welcoming for the bad guys.
It's like a natural defense mechanism.
Exactly. It helps keep the microbial balance in check, limits the growth of harmful species, and potentially reduces the production of toxins they might create. Plus, this whole process contributes to healthier stool. It increases bulk and water content, making things move along more smoothly.
Easier elimination. Got it. And wasn't there something in the sources about vitamins, too?
Oh, yes. A nice little bonus. Some of those beneficial gut bacteria that thrive on fermenting fiber, they actually synthesize certain B vitamins as part of their own metabolism, particularly a form of vitamin B1, thiamine.
And we can absorb and use those vitamins.
We can, yes. So they're not just fermenting, they're also producing extra nutrients for us. It's quite an elegant system.
It really is. But we mentioned the gases earlier. Let's talk about the trade-offs. If someone starts adding oats to their diet, what should they realistically expect?
Yeah, we can't gloss over that. The most common side effect, especially when you first start, is definitely that gas production.
Flatulence.
Flatulence, maybe some bloating, abdominal distension, just general discomfort. It happens because you're suddenly giving those fermenting bacteria a whole lot more fuel than they're used to.
And that initial gassiness can put people off, right?
Absolutely. It's probably the main reason people try oats for WIT and then give up, just before their system adapts and the benefits really kick in.
So what's the advice then? How do you manage that initial phase?
The key is start low and go slow. Don't suddenly switch from 0 oats to a huge bowl every morning.
Makes sense.
Maybe start with just a teaspoon, maybe sprinkle it on yogurt or add it to a smoothie. Do that for a few days, see how you feel. Then maybe increase to 2 teaspoons, then a tablespoon.
Give the gut bacteria time to adjust their populations.
Exactly. Gradually increasing the amount over, say, a few weeks usually allows the microbiome to adapt, and those initial symptoms tend to diminish or disappear altogether for most people.
Okay. Besides the temporary gas and bloating, are there any serious reasons someone shouldn't eat oats? Any major contraindications?
For the vast majority of people, oats are very safe. Contraindications are few. The main one to be really aware of is celiac disease.
Because of gluten. But aren't oats gluten-free?
Oats themselves don't contain gluten, technically, but they are very often grown, harvested, or processed in facilities that also handle wheat, barley, or rye. So cross-contamination is a significant risk.
Oh, yeah.
So people with celiac disease need to be extremely careful and only use oats that are certified gluten-free to avoid triggering a reaction. And even then, some highly sensitive individuals might react to a protein in oats called avenin, though that's less common.
So if you have celiac or maybe a significant digestive issue like Crohn's or something, probably best to talk to a doctor or dietitian first.
Absolutely. Always best to consult a healthcare professional if you have specific health concerns or chronic conditions. But for the general population, they're usually very well tolerated once you get past that initial adjustment.
Okay, let's shift to the evidence. We've talked about how oats might work. Now, how strong is the actual scientific proof for these health claims? Let's start with cholesterol again. That seems to be the star benefit.
It really is. The evidence for oats lowering cholesterol, particularly LDL cholesterol, is probably the strongest and most widely accepted. We have numerous well-conducted clinical trials and large observational studies that consistently show this effect.
So science backs that up pretty solidly.
Very solidly. It's a repeatable and measurable benefit in humans,
Yeah.
lowering total cholesterol and, more importantly, that harmful LDL fraction.
But you mentioned earlier it's not magic. The sources emphasize context.
Right. Critically important, yes. You can't just add oats to an otherwise terrible diet and expect miracles. The evidence is clearest and the benefits are greatest when oat consumption is part of a broader shift towards a healthier eating pattern. Meaning specifically, cutting back on saturated fats, avoiding trans fats altogether, and reducing intake of refined carbohydrates, things like white bread, sugary pastries, processed snacks. Oats work best when they replace less healthy options and complement an overall healthier diet.
Okay, so strong evidence for cholesterol, if part of a good diet. What about blood sugar control and diabetes prevention? How does the evidence stack up there?
It's also quite strong, robust, and generally accepted, I'd say. Maybe not quite as overwhelmingly documented as the cholesterol link in some ways, but still very convincing.
What did the studies show?
Studies clearly demonstrate improved blood sugar control in people who already have diabetes, both type 1 and type 2, actually. And importantly, there's good evidence suggesting that regular intake, especially when combined with physical activity, can significantly delay or reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the first place.
So solid evidence there too.
Yeah.
Now the really big one people often wonder about, cancer. Any link between oats and cancer risk?
Yes, there is evidence there as well, particularly concerning cancers of the digestive tract, like stomach and especially colon cancer.
And the evidence level?
Also considered pretty robust by many health organizations. Large population studies consistently find that higher intake of dietary fiber, including the types found in oats, is associated with a lower risk of colorectal cancer.
And the thinking goes back to the mechanics we discussed.
Primarily, yes. It likely relates to several factors we touched on. The fiber adds bulk to the stool, which can dilute potential carcinogens. It also speeds up transit time.
How quickly waste moves through the colon.
Right. Less time for potentially harmful substances to sit in contact with the colon lining. Plus, the fermentation products, those SCFAs like butyrate, are thought to have protective effects on colon cells directly.
Interesting. So multiple potential mechanisms contributing to that reduced risk.
Exactly. It's likely a combination of effects.
Okay, finally, let's talk about overall cardiovascular health, heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure. Our sources noted that studies haven't definitively proven oats alone prevent these major events. How do we square that with the strong LDL data?
That's a really important distinction. It comes down to the complexity of proving direct causation for major events, like a heart attack in large-scale studies focused only on oats. These events have many, many contributing factors.
Right. Diet is just one piece.
Exactly. So while a study might struggle to show that adding oats in isolation directly lowers blood pressure by X points or prevents Y number of heart attacks, we have to connect the dots.
What dots?
We know oats reliably lower LDL cholesterol. We know high LDL is a major risk factor for heart disease. We know oats help control blood sugar. We know poor blood sugar control and diabetes are major risk factors.
So if oats improve these major risk factors,
Then it's highly probable, almost certain, that consistently including oats as part of a healthy lifestyle contributes significantly to better long-term cardiovascular health and longevity. Even if the studies aren't designed to label oats as a direct preventative medicine for a heart attack in isolation, it's a powerful tool for managing known risks.
okay, that makes sense. It's indirect, but still vitally important.
Yeah.
So wrapping this all up, the big takeaway seems to be oats are great, but they're a tool, not a cure-all.
Precisely. They are incredibly effective, but only when used appropriately as part of a bigger picture of healthy habits. You can't out-oat a bad diet or a sedentary life.
It has to be part of that composite approach.
Yes, think of it as one valuable player on a whole team working towards your health.
And if people want to maximize the fiber benefits, not just from oats, what should they be aiming for daily?
The general recommendation is around 25 grams of total dietary fiber per day for adults, though some guidelines go up to 30 or more.
And that's not just from oats.
Definitely not. It's crucial to get fiber from diverse sources. Oats are fantastic for soluble fiber, but you also need insoluble fiber
What you find where?
in things like vegetables, lettuce, carrots, beets, celery fruits, nuts, seeds, other whole grains. Insoluble fiber is key for regularity and adding bulk. Both types work together synergistically for optimal gut health.
Okay, 25 grams, mix of sources. And this ties back perfectly to what the sources kept emphasizing as the pillars of a healthy life.
Absolutely. It always comes back to those fundamentals. Number one, regular physical activity. Number two, good overall nutrition, which means plenty of fiber from diverse sources, minimizing added sugars and ultra-processed foods.
And the third pillar?
Good mental health. Managing stress, getting enough sleep, tending to your emotional well-being. These three things, exercise, nutrition, mental health, they're interconnected and form the foundation. Oats fit beautifully into the nutrition piece, but they support rather than replace the others.
A really accessible, affordable tool within that bigger framework.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. We've talked a lot about how oats improve the gut, feeding good bacteria, producing those beneficial SCFAs, maybe even reducing inflammation systemically.
The gut health connection.
Right. And there's so much emerging science now about the gut-brain axis, the deep connection between the health of our microbiome and our mental state, our mood, our cognitive function.
It's a rapidly evolving field, absolutely.
So here's the thought. If oats contribute to a healthier gut environment, and a healthier gut is linked to better brain health and mood, could focusing on other aspects of your well-being, like actively managing stress or improving your mental health, actually amplify the physical benefits you get from that simple bowl of oats? Could improving your mind make the oats work even better in your body?
That's a fascinating question. Exploring that potential synergy between mental well-being and the physiological effects of good nutrition.
Something to chew on. How might strengthening one pillar of health boost the effectiveness of another? We encourage you to think about that surprising connection, perhaps, between your brain and your breakfast grain.